Talk about the church. Let me ask you something. We talked about science, we talked about math, we talked about all that, right? So you don't believe in God, right? You believe in Albert Einstein. He's your God. So what's your worldview?
Probably like the theory of randomness, I believe.
So you think that everything is just happening at random?
If you guys hadn't been out here today, we never would have had this conversation. Or if I hadn't been driving by or stopped for a minute.
You think that all that is random? Just life is just random. Everything's happening at random.
You guys was pure random. When I rescued that dog in there, that was pure random. If I hadn't cut down that street, if I had slipped down another street.
Proverbs 20 and 24, right?
That's all random.
Proverbs 20 and 24.
I think, like the three guys I play golf with tomorrow, all three of them met their wives.
This is the book of Proverbs 20, verse 24.
Bring it up.
Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way?
So you're talking out of carnal ignorance. Where you see randomness, I see divine setup, right? Everything's not happening at just random. There's nothing that's just like the brother was saying, everything is happening too meticulous and too in order for it to be just throwing shit at the wall hoping it sticks. There's a very intelligent being that's designed the bodies that our spirits dwell in. The ecosystem, the atmosphere is too meticulous. It's too in order for it to just be random, right? Random. I know. I'm letting you know that random is chaos in the world. The world is set. The world is set in too much order for it to be random. It's not chaotic enough. Now the people that run the world, they have created a system of chaos, which is why these people on the side need to wake the hell up.
That's right.
If you take that, did you ever see that the Trump shooting? Did you ever see that?
Trump shooting?
Yeah. They shot at him a month ago?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Now, he was doing a speech like you are about something different. And then he just turned to read the statistics he had on the board there when the bullet went by and got him in the ear. But if he hadn't turned to read that sign, he would have had his head blown off. Now, that's random.
Now, speaking of Trump, right? Who you voting for?
Trump.
You voting for Trump? Why?
I like the $1.80 gas prices, and I like the low grocery prices, and the 2% mortgage rates, and the 2% interest rates. Since Biden's taken off.
What about his policy? What about his border policies? What about that?
Love it.
So you think we should keep the Latinos out?
No, just have them sign the guest book before they come in. That's all. No, I'm not anti-Latino.
Why they gotta sign the guest book?
Well, I mean, I'm a Canadian. I mean, if I come over customs there, I got to show them all my ID before they let me in.
You're active. You live in active Canada right now.
No,
like you're
I'm from there. I go home all the time to visit.
But because Trump not really too much concerned about the northern border. That's not his policy. His policy is all about the southern border, keeping the Hispanics out. That's what his policy is geared towards, is keeping the Latinos out of America. Why they got to sign the guest book? You do know that the whole southern half of the United States belongs to them, right?
You know, they said, now this is just, and it wasn't Fox News either, but you know how every night they have on the sign, like, Harris is leading 48% to 49% in Wisconsin, and she'll be leading in Nevada, and Trump will be leading somewhere else, 48 to 47. They show these.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
All right. They had another one of these things, national. This was national the other day with them guys that are on there every Sunday, Chris Todd and all them guys. No set network, and they were talking about all the statistics. Like, for example, they might, to make it up, they might just say, well, Harris will get 67% of the black vote, or numbers like that. That's just what they say. And in that thing they're talking about the Hispanic vote, and they said that Trump's got 11 of it, as opposed to 8 of the Hispanic vote.
What does that got to do with what I just said?
Well, 11% of the Hispanics that are voting don't agree with you.
It don't matter if they agree, because guess Because guess who they panhandle to every election year? They don't panhandle to you. They panhandle to my people. Why? Because they know that without us, without our vote, they can't do nothing. Which is why they panhandle so bad for the black and Hispanic votes.
Blacks and Hispanics.
The blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans.
That's right.
All right, I got one for you. You'll know. How many blacks are in this country?
We're the sand of the sea. We can't possibly be numbered.
Well,
We can't possibly be numbered because the census don't take into account the people. The people that do the census, they don't take account people in prison. They don't take into account.
You don't even know how many blacks in this country.
no, 13 million.
That's not true.
Okay, well,
I can tell you about one of my cousins. He got 2 kids, both born at home, no birth certificate, no social security card. So they ain't even on the census. I'm grandchild number 43 in my family. I got a shitload of cousins. You know what I'm
so
saying?
would you say 20 million?
I got a shitload of cousins. You know what I'm saying? So I just told you about one cousin that got 2 kids that's not even listed.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying you don't know. So that's back to your statistics and your science, which is
How many
it's a little
votes?
off.
How
What are
many-
we talking about here though? The votes?
Yeah. How many voting blacks are out there? Never mind. If you got-
What is a black?
Well, what he's talking about. What do you mean when he said black? That was his words, not mine.
Blacks. What is a black?
Anyway, man.
I think
So,
you're just going on like who went
The
last
point is, Trump and Kamala Harris ain't gonna do nothing for us,
week. Agreed. No, I
right?
don't.
No. When I say for us, I mean my people.
I mean, for anybody, I agree with you.
No, because you just talked about mortgage and all this shit that he doing for y'all. I don't. 2% mortgage rates,
That's
right?
what it was when I left.
All of that benefits you and your people. They're not. They're $1.80, right? And that was only during the one thing,
They had a
right? So basically, the moral of the story is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are God's chosen people.
That's right.
Right?
they had a
And God is only dealing with so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
That's right.
Right? And we got to get out of this system. We got to get out of this mindset, right? That's why I even asked about who he was voting for, because it really don't matter. They're not going to do nothing for me or my people. To hell with Trump. To hell with Kamala. Right? Oh yeah. And look, and this is even according to the census in 2020, 46.9 million people identify as black or African American. So that 13 million was way off that you said. Which that's not even the point, right? The point is,
government statistics say that. You know, they'll say,
Right.
you know,
so you're a so-called Caucasian, right? So-called white person? So-called, because you're not really white, you're really pink, right? So you just saying your identity goes back to a man in this Bible named Esau, right? Jacob's wicked twin brother, right? We, as so-called Negroes, so-called African Americans, go back to the man Jacob, right? We go back to the
you
Israelites.
just said a man's word. You said you believe in that African Americans,
I said so-called.
so-called. You believe in that word?
So-called. No, that's why I said so-called.
Jesse Jackson invented that word.
That's why I said so-called. You have to pay attention to words, right? So, you being an Edomite, right? Let me show you how God feels about the Edomites. You get me Romans chapter 9, right? And this is why a lot of them don't believe in God, right? They should, right? Go ahead. Book of Romans.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved.
So blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, God loved, God chose, right? Go ahead.
But Esau have I.
But the so-called white man read.
But Esau have I hated.
But God hates Esau, and this is the judgment that he's pronounced on Donald Trump, on Kamala Harris, on you, on your people. Go ahead.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 10.
Yeah.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
He that lead in captivity shall go into captivity. You want to talk about the census statistics of how many black people are in America? They're only here because they were kidnapped, they were stolen, raped, robbed, and murdered from the western shores of Africa. Now, how many was kidnapped from West Africa? Let's talk about those numbers. Exactly. And how many died on the way over here? Right? I'm talking about wicked acts that changed the migratory patterns of sharks in the Atlantic Sea. Right? So he that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. So-called white people led my people in captivity. That means when Jesus, who the world calls Jesus Christ, who's a real powerful so-called black man, when he comes back, he's coming to enslave white people. Go ahead.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
That's right.
You want to keep talking about numbers, you don't even want to know the numbers of how many dead so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have died in this place since the 1400s at the hand of the conquistadors, right? Whipping babies out of pregnant Puerto Rican women's stomachs, right? Kills, hanging, lynching so many black people that they got songs calling us strange fruit hanging from the poplar tree, right? How many the bones of Native Americans that Michigan is built on, right? The whole Mount Pleasant, the whole city of Mount Pleasant built on Native American bones, right? Give me Numbers 35, 33. This is the thing that so-called blacks, Hispanic, God's chosen people really got to realize, right? Is we keep trying to make America work, right? Trump's slogan is "Make America Great Again." Well, when was America great? Was it the 1440s when the conquistadors came, or was it 1619 when they set up Jamestown? What time period is Donald Trump talking about make America great again?
I'd say the 60s, 50s, 60s.
When they was sick in water hoses and German shepherds on black folks. That's the time that we want to go back to make America great. When the restaurants were, and listen, I believe we should be segregated. Detroit, Michigan, to give you quick history on Detroit, Michigan, as a neighborhood, Black Bottom, right? It was a person that owned a grocery store at Black Bottom. He said, when we were saying we had our own communities, we thrived. Our families started, the nucleus black families thrived under segregation. It wasn't until we got integrated that our businesses, our families all went to hell, right? So we got to separate ourselves. I do think we should be separate. I do think we should be segregated, right? Which is why I love when Trump gets his followers all riled up, right? And they try to cause this divide. I'm all for the division. And more importantly, my God is for the division.
That's right.
Right? You got Numbers 35?
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 35, verse 33.
Bring it up.
So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood, it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it.
But by who?
But by the blood of him that shed it.
That's
Like I
right.
said, Michigan. The name Michigan is a Native American word, right? Which is why I was talking about the southern border. That whole southern border belongs to so-called Mexicans, right? Or do we want to keep them out? And this land was built off the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors, right? And I know, oh, well, I didn't do any of it. I didn't do any of it, right? Get your...
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 21.
Bring it up.
Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
Right? So it's more than likely a good thing that you don't believe in God, because this is the way that God feels about your people for what they've done to my people. But guess what? It don't matter if you believe, because when Christ comes back, he's going to make you believe. He's going to make you bow, and you're going to have no choice. Right?
This is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 9.
Bring it up.
For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
That's right.
Esau, right? The so-called white man, he's going to have the last rule over this place. But when his rule is done, right, then the so-called black man, he's next. And our kingdom will never end, right? Because it's going to be built and rooted in righteousness. Get the book of Proverbs 29 and 2. Right, you got that?
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee.
So be glad and enjoy these last days, right? Because you notice the cup of the wrath of God you're gonna drink of the cup of the wrath of God. The same way me and my people have been made to drink of that cup. Read.
Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished. O daughter of Zion, he will no more carry thee away into captivity.
But for my people, right? We will no more go into captivity. We will rule the planet like we always was meant to, right? When we come back to God and stop being stiff-necked, stop being hard-headed, right? The reason, matter of fact, get that Lamentations 4 and read verse 17, because that's what this is, right? This trumpet, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Obama mess, right? You're looking for a nation that cannot save you.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 17.
Bring it up.
As for As for us, our eyes has yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. They hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. All
right. So we watch for a nation that cannot save us. America, hell with America. America's gonna be destroyed by thermonuclear fire, right?
Thank you.
By the hand of whoever, when it happens, is in charge of Russia.
Thank you, guys.
Russia is gonna blow this place clean to hell, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you don't like that, huh? You
No,
don't
I
like,
gotta
you don't
know.
like
I
the
just-
fact that
I'm
Russia's
saying-
gonna blow
I'm
America
saying thank you.
clean
I gotta know.
smithereens, right? What you got?
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
And that's what the people of the world do now. They mourn, right? But even you, when you're in my cotton field, picking my cotton, taking care of my animals,
That's right.
right? I'm talking about cutting my grass with fingernail clippers, right? You're gonna rejoice because when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. So go about, finish living your life, man, right? And we'll see you on the other side, in one of our cotton fields. You know what I'm saying? And that's just about how far that go. But for you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? You need to get your life together. You need to get your life right. Right? What you got?
This is the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11. In that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
Our salvation is nearer than we would believe, and we know that when we turn on this news, if you look at the geopolitical landscape of the world today, right? Our salvation is nearer than when we first believed, right? That's why you niggas got to get y'all minds in order. That's why you niggas got to get y'all minds in order, man. All right? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are God's chosen people. That's right. And God wants y'all to come back and keep his law, statutes, and commandments. Give me Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 18. This whole camp just through the spirit of the Most High, right? That just show you that we not just those ignorant niggas that people think that we are. We got to talking about Einstein and theories. Listen, you're not talking to no nigga who just woke up yesterday. You know what I'm saying? You talking to niggas that know they know their stuff, man. That really study to show themselves approved.